In this video, I'm going to talk about the US and China relationship when it comes to US-China trade. I just want to give you the statistics first. Back in 2022, US imports included 470 billion, excuse me, $570 billion worth of goods coming in from China. 2 years later, back in 2022, those goods declined by almost $100 billion to $470 billion. That is a sign that US is decoupling itself from China, and that is a celebration that Americans should be proud of because we are tired, Americans are tired of cheap goods being flooded into America and hollowing out the American middle class, which is the manufacturing class. So which is why when President Trump took office in the first month in February, he said, we're going to tax China 10%. That was a sign and a warning to all these corporations that cut their labor costs by 50 to 60% and go overseas and build cars and do manufacturing over there. So whenever you hear someone like an Elon Musk, a multi-billionaire, other multi-millionaires saying that, oh, well, we're conjoined at the hip and we cannot separate from China, it's because they have a horse in the race. They're saying that because he makes his cars over there, he sells them over there. All these companies that make their chips over there and sell them over there. Of course, they're going to say that. They don't want to bring they don't want to bring manufacturing back to America because it means it's going to eat at their bottom line. Okay. Now, if you're smart, you already started to onshore your manufacturing. And then, okay, so once in February, we said we're going to slap 10% tariffs on all Chinese goods. China retaliated. They took it further. They said we're going to hit you with 15% tariffs. Then in March, we said, fine, well, we'll take this tariffs to 20%. And then they retaliated and said, we'll take it to fine. 25%. Then in April, we said, okay, enough for this tit for tat. We're going to take this tariff to 104%. And then they responded with, okay, fine, we're going to take it to 125%. And then, of course, we negotiated at the Geneva Convention and said, "Fine, let's stop with the tariff imports." Of course, for that brief period, we saw an economic slowdown or the stock market crash, which really does not represent uh, the Main Street. Wall Street lives on cloud nine. Okay, they inflate their numbers. Uh, all that information is just a bunch of made up financial data, which is projected for future revenue. Anyways, um, so if you're smart, you want to bring manufacturing back to the US, and that is the goal of this administration is to bring the middle class back into America by bringing manufacturing back to America. So, where are we now? Well, there's breaking news as of yesterday and today that we've continued this we're continuing this escalation. China's continued this escalation with the US, and that uh, now the Trump administration announced that they're going to be putting 100% tax on Chinese soybeans and cooking oils. Great. Guys, the only way we bring back manufacturing is by getting by decoupling from China. China has a stranglehold on manufacturing are all over the globe. They have over 1 billion people. They could pay them pennies on the dollar and make them work 90 hours a week to make these cheap goods. We don't have the manpower for that. But you know what we have? We've got the brains and we've got the technology for it because we are beating them and kicking their ass at all fronts when it comes to technological advances, to AI advances. We are kicking their butt and we're going to continue to do that. So I think if you're a person who's looking to open a business, to create a manufacturing facility, this is the best time to do it. Hire American workers. Don't take it overseas. Now, if you ask me, in my personal opinion, I'll give you that too because I want to be fully transparent with you, as I always will be. We are going into massive escalation with China. And I am not saying that lightly. I do not mean to say that lightly. We are going into escalations with China, and um, of course, no one is saying we is advocating for a full-blown war. But trust me, guys, when I say they want Taiwan, they want Taiwan. And do you know how much of the chips, these AI chips that are in our phones, come from China or Taiwan? About 90% of them. They're all made in China, which is why you're seeing massive investment from the government in building AI facilities in Ohio, like the Intel facility, by buying stakes into private companies like an Intel, saying, hey, you got to start building, you've got to start creating American jobs and start bringing manufacturing on shore because China is going after Taiwan. And they're not going to stop there, just like Russia is not going to stop at Ukraine. Remember, Russia just didn't start taking over Ukraine. They started with Georgia. Took over Crimea, and Ukraine was next. And look, we've got a river between us. What am I saying? River. We've got an ocean between us. A river. We've got an ocean between us. But all those European countries, they do not. Again, the best. This is the best way to bring back manufacturing to America and decouple ourselves from China. Remember, these are the same CCP folks that will steal your IP. They have spies all over the world. If you look at research that's coming out of these universities that are they're studying like spies, there's I'm forgetting this gentleman's name, and I've asked him to come on the show, and hopefully I'll get him on the show. Um, but he did research, and he's talking about how China spy facility has grown to like over 500,000 people, and they've got them all over the world. They're stealing IP. They're buying up land. Finally, we've said you cannot buy land in America if you're a Chinese government official. Like, what are you doing? Buying up American land. So there is this like Cold War like era we're in between we're in with China and Russia, particularly China, I think more than even Russia. So, but this video is like I think more so of a warning sign and to let all these corporations know like you've got to bring manufacturing back to America, and it would be foolish if you don't because this escalation between China has just started, and we're going to see a lot of it. Thank you for watching this episode of the podcast. Consider subscribing if you enjoy these types of videos. I'm your host Amir. I'll catch you in the next one.